I hit rock bottom. And I very honestly, I wanted off this planet. Now, I didn't get serious about that, but I really had an idea. I'm going to live it up, spend all my money for a year, and then take myself
Hello,
out.
good morning, how you doing? Waking up, shaking yesterday's blues.
Let me introduce Gina to you first before we jump into this should be juicy conversation today. Gina's journey from deep emotional pain to self-love exemplifies resilience and transformation. As a self-love coach, speaker, and writer, she passionately shares how self-love unlocks true healing and fulfillment. With wisdom and experience, Gina inspires others to embrace self-love and live empowered, extraordinary lives. This is one of my favorite topics, self-love.
Yes, such an important topic.
Such an important topic. I heard Jamie Lima share the other day that she heard somewhere, you know, why versus what. Leaders in businesses, a lot of them, they know what to do and they do that day to day. But then the deeper transformation happens for the starters of the companies and for the clients is knowing the why. When the founder and when the entrepreneur knows their why, right? And so I want to bring it to you. How did it all start? How did this journey of self-love and now business helping women, how did it all start for you, Gina?
So, thank you, Elle. It started for me. I was raised with a tremendous amount of emotional abuse at home. And, it really threw me. I did not start life in a good, healthy place and knowing who I am and feeling good about myself. I would not say that I was nurtured in a healthy way at home. And so I grew up really not having a clear understanding of who I was and my place in the world and what love looks like. And, with emotional abuse is a really serious thing. And I made unhealthy relationship choices, friends, spouse, the whole bit. And my whole life until just a couple of years ago really was me so badly needing external validation that I was a people pleaser, a self-sacrificer, because I thought that my value was found in what other people thought of me. And usually that was still negative. And then about 3.5 years ago, I hit rock bottom. And I very honestly, I wanted off this planet. Now, I didn't get serious about that, but I really had an idea. I'm going to live it up, spend all my money for a year, and then take myself out. That's as far as I got. And it didn't last very long, fortunately. And I realized, I had this moment of clarity. It was in the shower. I think the shower is like this amazing portal of love energy for me personally. I was screaming. I was so angry at the world, and I was screaming how unfair my life had been. And the three words that came out of my mouth that saved my life were, I deserve better. And that became my mantra. And I kind of started to realize the people in my life need to go because they're not healthy. They're not reciprocating the love that I put out. And at the time, I was an interior designer and I love designing for myself, but I found it was not fulfilling to design for other people. So I decided I need to give up this career, but I didn't know what else am I going to do now? Like I had been in interior design and residential construction for quite a long time. I didn't know what else I wanted to do. And what I figured out is that I didn't know where my passion was because I didn't know who I was. I had spent my life making other people happy and not making myself happy. And I was miserable. I was able to take a year. I ended up being almost 2 years that I took off and didn't work. And I poured into myself. And I decided I need to know, who am I and what makes me happy? And along that path is self-love just sort of came about. That's what I was doing without knowing that's what I was doing. And my life is completely different today. I feel the best I've ever felt about myself. And I realize that everyone else I know is also walking around, not to the extent that I was, but feeling unworthy, unlovable, you know, not enough. And that we all have some insecurities. And I found that self love is the answer to everything. Every aspect of your life is 100% dependent on how worthy you feel. And so now that I've figured this out and I've turned my own life around, I feel like this is an unknown secret. It's not a secret, it is out there in the world, but I feel like people don't really get how important this topic is. And
Yeah.
I really want to lift other people up and let them know that their dreams for themselves are absolutely possible. Your life can be amazing and it's up to you. It's not about your partner. It's not about how much money you have in the bank. It's not how smart you are. It's how you feel about yourself that
Right.
determines everything in your life.
Yeah, it's oh, thank you for sharing that story, Gina.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love this, and it's so true that the life is a mirror. So it all starts with us, right? The life we're
Yes.
living, whatever we experience on the outside, it's really mirroring what we experience on the inside. And I love
Totally.
that you, yeah, and I love that you're doing that work. I love that you're bringing that work to and helping women, helping people to, go through all these obstacles to really reclaim their personal power through
Yeah.
self-love. So what is it, some of the tips, in our busy lives, and right now, a lot of things we can do, a lot of things we need to do, a lot of things on a daily, right? All these responsibilities. Where do we start? Where someone starts in even understanding if they need, right?
Yeah.
More love and that true healing. I love that, unlocking true healing and fulfillment for themselves.
Yeah. Awareness is the best place to start. And so, how do you know if you need self love? If you feel unworthy or inadequate or not enough, if you
Mhm.
doubt yourself, then you need more self love. If you feel like you're a loser, and I'm sorry to use that word, but if that's how you feel because you're single, then you need self love, right? You are
Mhm.
the most fulfilling person in your life. You don't need someone else to
Mhm.
make you feel loved. If you don't prioritize your own needs, you
Yeah.
need self love. If you feel guilty spending money on yourself, you need self love. So there's
Mhm.
all kinds of little ways, and it's the way you show up for yourself in life. So, like feeling guilty buying, I have a tube of lipstick here. If you feel guilty spending whatever, 35, 40 bucks, whatever it costs, if it's in your budget and you can afford it and you want it and you feel bad spending money on yourself, that's your subconscious telling you, I don't think you're worth
Mhm.
35 or $40. So it's little things like that give you examples of how your subconscious feels about you. And it's all day every day. Your subconscious gives you clues. We're not usually aware of what our subconscious thinks, but they're there if you're paying attention. So awareness is huge. Just what are you telling yourself in your head? Are they
Mhm.
kind words or are they negative? Are you telling yourself, well, you're a lousy housekeeper and you're not a very good mom? That's your subconscious telling you it doesn't love you. What are
Mhm.
the words that come out of your mouth? Are you saying, oh, I'm so bad at technology? Just the little things we say, oh, I'm such an idiot. We don't really mean that I'm an idiot, but your subconscious is telling you, I don't
Yeah,
think very highly of you, right?
so
And
good.
your actions. So just being aware, what are you thinking? What are you saying? What are you doing that demonstrates how you feel about yourself? And I always say it starts with just being aware.
Because I think and I can totally relate now that you're giving those examples.
Of
I
course.
remember myself questioning myself, right? And so when you're actually giving examples, yeah, I remember. And for me, the entrepreneurial journey has been the most rewarding in uncovering this layers, right?
Oh yeah.
The subconscious layers, um, that I go through, and depending on what I'm working on in the next level, there is always another area or another sort of level, or maybe not. Maybe there is, it's just comes from such different angles at you. I think so it's such a good point to be aware, and suggestion to be aware, and questions we ask ourselves, or the language we talk to ourselves. I mentioned this, the business building. In building your own business, how has this experience been for you in, sharing this beautiful idea of self-love, spreading self-love, and helping others embrace it in themselves? But with that, of course, there are, lessons, and maybe you can share, one of the biggest lessons that you have encountered yourself while building a business as a woman.
I think the biggest obstacle that I've had, and I think this is probably pretty common, I think maybe that's what you're alluding to, is the obstacle that I present myself, my self-limiting beliefs, right? My whole life, I've been afraid to express my opinion, to speak publicly. It was the most terrifying thing for me personally. And when I finally was like, I'm tired of being afraid. I don't, I want to move past being afraid to express myself. And I volunteered to speak publicly, which I never had done in my whole life. To volunteer, no way. Right. And I came up against my fears in that process. Like, oh my God, I'm speaking to entrepreneurial women about self-love, and they already know this stuff. They're going to be bored. They're going to be upset with me for wasting their time. That was just my fear talking, right? Trying to talk me out of doing it because it's scary for me to speak publicly. But I said to myself, you know what? If no one likes what I have to say, so be it. This was about me standing in my power, speaking my truth. That was the exercise. It wasn't about my message landing, although I wanted that too, but it was about me standing in my power and speaking my truth. And when I did that, when I hold true to myself, I actually got really positive response. So I think knowing that our self-limiting beliefs are not always true, and often they're not true, and just believing and trusting in myself and holding true to my vision, that's where my power lies. And I didn't know that before. So that was a great, yeah.
Yes, I love that. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. I'm sure a lot of people listening, relate to your journey.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I think very often when we are leading ourselves, we have to lead ourselves and to lead our business. It's a new energy. It's a whole new thing for us to do. It's just a lot of moving pieces, and and the voices. So thank you for sharing that. Now I wanted to ask you, Gina, I know you had a course as well, and something that you share, or maybe for the people listening, how can they find you? If you have anything upcoming, any events, feel free to share with us.
Yes, people can find me. I have a website. It's www.coachginacoviello.com. I do have on there I do a monthly free workshop online. So the next 3 months are usually out there. So you can go to my website, sign up for a free workshop, and see what I have to offer. And then I do have I'm working on new group coaching is what I'm actually working on, instead of individual coaching, which was my original idea. I find for women, the magic really happens when we are in community together. And I think that group coaching offers an opportunity to learn and grow alongside other people, but you learn from the other women in the group as well. I have a particular concern. I guarantee someone else has the same concern, and I might feel inhibited to share my concern, but someone else might have the exact same concern. So that still presents me an opportunity to learn from other people. So I am just starting group coaching programs. The first one I have, it's 3 weeks, an hour a week, and we're going to talk about 10 areas of self-love. So it's very simple. It's coming up on April 22nd, 2025 is my launching of that particular program. So I'm excited about doing that new program. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. I love what you shared about the group. Yes, it's so interesting when we are in the group, something, and what I experienced, right? Something someone shares that I didn't necessarily think about, or I
Yes.
didn't have it in my experience. And then someone shares, and then something, whatever they shared resonated with the other person in the group. Yeah, I so
Yeah.
agree. And how exciting about the program. So please, listeners, connect with Gina. She's doing an amazing work, and I'm looking forward to checking out that new group that you have coming up
Thank you.
as well. I want to move us to the rapid fire questions,
Okay.
and I just have a few.
I think so. So this is just, I say the first thing that comes to me, right?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Great. Let's do it.
awesome. Your favorite book name is, and it could be
Oh,
your own book as well.
yeah. My favorite book name, the name or the actual subject is what we're after here.
Could be
Doesn't matter.
either. Whatever comes to mind right now.
I'm working on my own book, and it's called I Deserve Better. It is not out for publication yet, but it is my story. I deserve better. I think it's such a powerful topic, and I've kind of touched on what the book is about. Yeah.
I cannot wait to read it. Beautiful. I love the
Yeah,
name too.
thank you.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Favorite international destination to visit?
Ooh, there's so many good ones. I'm headed to Italy this year, so I'm going to say
Ah,
Italy.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Summer or winter?
Summer. Summer.
Yeah. And the final question is things that you have discovered about yourself recently.
So I've discovered recently that I no longer feel guilty taking up space in the world. That
Yeah.
one was a beautiful realization, and that I used to feel that way, and I don't anymore. Awesome, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Congratulations with that. That's huge. I love
that is
that.
huge.
I
It is
love that
huge.
for you. Thank you so much, Gina.
Thank you,
Thank
Elle.
you for playing. Thank you for being here. I will see you soon. And listeners, please connect with Gina. And if you'd like to be on our podcast, reach out to me. And this was Empowered Global Women in Business podcast with Gina Coviello.